So, if you have any contact with the chair of the SHA authority, manze hatutaki anything lesser than the chair, because these questions are very pertinent. Anything to deal with health is very pertinent. So, let's ask for this. We need to bring him to a space. Ni lazima bana. Sababu, man, we can't just live in a vacuum where we say, okay, yeah, let's be theoretical, let's be on paper, let's grow these things. Things need to sort out our present before we even think about the future. Most, not everything, but most. Visionaries will come and tell us everything they want to talk about in terms of where the country needs to be. But as of now, how are we speaking about the future while the present, as of now, iko na shida? And that's where mi nataka kuanzia. So let's look for that chair's number or whatever it is. Please inbox me if you can. Me, I'm looking for him, and let's get him on a space, and let's get as many people coming to ask these questions, because health, 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 my people. You're one disease away from poverty because of health. Esquire, naona mkono juu.
I just want to, this is just an add-on and a comment as we prepare for the space for the evening. I want to advise all of you, before Mkujo space, I want to go and watch that interview ya CS wa health kwa Senate na pia kwa National Assembly. I just want to go and in YouTube search on your interview. Then ukuje na hizo maswali mingi, because one of the question mimi niuliza, like, what qualified Safaricom kupatia hiyo nini ya kutengeneza hiyo system, because Safaricom is known as a telecommunication company, not building systems unless it's their business systems zao. We have best companies here. Kuna Cellulant here in Kenya, IBM bado pia iko hapa in Kenya. We had the best of the most qualified companies to be given that tender. So kuna swali aliulizwa about that, and there's a way she answered. I want you people to go and watch that interview. Then you'll even have more questions than answer. And I want you guys to bring those questions here. Nimemaliza.
Freshi, lo moi or luama. Are you able to speak? Kama tufunge hii kitu bana. Loimoi, functional solutionist. Okay, I think this is it, my people. Let's meet later on, either on Mabonga's timeline or my timeline. Let's speak about easy SHIF. Okay, ongea Loimoi before tufunge. Hii jamaa iko na lag ya internet ama nini? Anyhow, guys, it's been real. That's the hour I promised you guys. Glad to hear from you people once again. I've taken some leave there. Excuse my voice once more because manze imekuwa muda mrefu. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, na leo Monday. Okay, ilibamba. But that's it for today. Let's meet when we know something about SHA and SHIF. By the way, enda to YouTube, enda search about Spice FM, and then put those keywords kama SHIF or SHA. Tusome manze. Skiza. Take note of the questions. Let's meet in the evening. Either on Mabonga _254 Zando. Mnajua KOT Songo. Sijui mbona nawaambia about it. Tukutane kwa KOT Songo ama tukutane on my timeline, depending on how this is going to roll out as well. For the moment, sijui tufunge hii space na nini, but for now, this is us and this is Sauti ya Mwananchi. Keep it rolling.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sauti ya Mwananchi Space comes to you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Hosted by Wafula Wanyama and Mabonga Market, respectively. Our rotating team of co-hosts with expertise in matters governance, political science, constitutional law, human rights, and economics will also ensure you get the best insights and advice. This show provides you, the Kenyan citizen, a platform to voice out your grievances and share your expectations with fellow countrymen. Join us every weekday under the hashtag Sauti ya Mwananchi. Sauti ya Mwananchi. Be there, be heard.
Sawa, tukutane jioni. Be there, be heard. Manze, msisahau about that. And finally, we are Kenyan and Kenyan is our business. So lazima tusikize our national anthem. I'd missed this. na goosebump ikushike ama goosebumps zikushike ukisikia hii ngoma.
Were built by the Mzungu, the Buruburu, original Buruburus, and all these other planned estates. Everything else that has cropped up in Nairobi has been built by the villagers. Oh, you lazy Nairobi fuckers. You live, you eat, you dress, you move through the villages. The vehicles you drive in, the vehicles you even buy, your own personal vehicles. Those yards are owned by villagers. The matatus are owned by the likes of Sonko, a total villager. Look at how he built his houses. Like the villager he is and exposed to the Western world. Total villagers are running Nairobi. Every single house, even right now, if you're in Nairobi, you're listening to me, that house you live in is owned by a villager. And guess who is building the houses? Ugandans. The Kilimanis and the Kileleshwas are being built by Ugandans because there is only enough lawyers and rules to go around. So when we need extra labor for this real estate boom, the city people are too lazy to raise their hand. So they are importing labor from Uganda. The Burundians and the Rwandese are the ones running these small-scale businesses in all these enclaves in the estates, selling food. Ikoba market is inundated by villagers, all the way from the Chagas of Tanzania. Because you lazy motherfuckers just want kicks. Tafutie kicks mzuri ya Jordan. Who is going to look for the kicks? A villager like Mnyamwezi.
Not postponed. So when
A villager from
not
Chaga.
postponed. So
A villager from Esaikuru. A villager from Kanyanyaine. You fuckers are just consumers, sitting idly by waiting for a deal. And the corruption that you cry foul about is being perpetuated by your parents. The corrupt Kenyans are the city dwellers who work in government offices. When they work, where they work, they are the most corrupt individuals. But the villager is earning an honest living and sending the money back home to educate the children and to improve their homes and to buy a new Kalilopaka plot. I worked in Tuskies with 100% villagers. These people were honest. They were hardworking. They were diligent. They were goal-oriented. They were focused like a laser. They all came from Rongai, Nakuru, all of them. These people are honest human beings working 7 days a week. This is the original Tuskies before it was being managed by experts. Nairobians could not be found dead working in Tuskies because it's beneath them. They are waiting for a deal in their mother's house in Buruburu with the shaggy hair and shrunken pants like the niggers they are. Mimi natafuta leader ambaye ni Nairobian simuoni. Maina Jenga, not Maina Jenga, the other one.
Is that how you
The
conduct your personal
original-
financial decisions?
The original.
Is that what you do? Is
where
that how you run
Babuino
your home?
is member of
Is that how
parliament.
you run your relationships? Without any vetting, without any criteria. Somebody just comes there, just because they've taken a video over there, you're ready to give them your money. Inadvertently, you have killed the movement because those were resources. You keep on saying, oh, we are not jealous. We've been shooting videos with equipment that we didn't buy with your money. We've been doing X, Y, and Z. We've been doing it for free. And then you come and say, oh, we are jealous. We are not jealous. We are just thinking, how have you lost the plot? Because this was supposed to be a life-changing experience. It was supposed to be our crossroads, our turning point, our Damascus moment. You understand? And then you guys are being so reckless with your decisions. You're being so, you just wake up one day, you just see this guy, you foist him just because he's done a few videos over here. You do understand the amount of work that has been done by people who have done forensic audits, by people who have gone to court, who you have never supported, people who have gone to court and they've done court orders. You bastards would be paying toll stations if it wasn't for a Kenyan of goodwill who went to court, because that was what they were doing. Do you reward them? No. You go for you guys, I don't understand what's wrong with, is it 844? Because it must be the education system, because this stupidity cannot be so prevalent. It cannot be so recurring that today you are ready to foist those ladies. And I have no problem. They made very poignant and very powerful statements. I have no problem with them. But you know very well they lack the mental fortitude. You know they lack the financial capacity to resist. Because remember, this is a sacrifice. Casmuel, from the first day you saw him, you knew he loved being flashy, he loved the cameras, he knew what. So you always can tell somebody who is malleable, somebody who can fall. You know, they say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So you can always tell a character who is weak, somebody who is fickle. That's how we define our friendships, because you want to stay with reliable people all the time. So how comes you even in the movement, even the opportunity, the God-given opportunity that has been presented to us, how comes you are so weak to gravitate around the biggest fraudsters, the biggest conmen? Osama Otero, look at him. He started the movement. You guys gave him tunes. You guys did everything. But what did he do? The first opportunity he got clout, he went to sell off to Ruto. Same as all these characters who have come along the way. Even Morara, whether you like it or not, that guy is a plant. His rise is very suspicious. There's somebody who is choreographing these rise behind the scenes, because me today, I cannot even dare have a media interview. I cannot go to Citizen. I cannot go on, because I know by the time I'm leaving there, the cops will be on my case. They'll be on my diab. But then this character who is moving from one media house to another, you go here, you go here, you go here. You don't think it's a coincidence. You don't find it funny. I don't understand what's wrong with you. I don't understand why we have to be overly obsessed with foisting one character. There are a million people who are doing civic education. There are a million people who are raising the issues that people want to hear. If you go to my TL today, that's what I have made a purpose to go on TikTok to find anyone who has said something sensible. I will post, even if it's 10 different people in a day. I will post as long as it aligns with the broader objectives. Now, why can't you do that? Why must you be obsessing about one character, one clown, one agenda? It does not make sense. So I was getting pissed off, and the more I raise it, and even when I was just pointing out that, Bonnie could be a sellout, Casmuel could be a sellout, the fact that you guys were still in denial, the fact that you could not even entertain that possibility that you are dealing, because the most dangerous person is not fucking Ruto, it's not fucking Rigathi, it's not these fucking Kenya Kusha shit show politicians. It is the enemy within. That's the most dangerous person. And if you don't spend your time weeding out, exterminating these weevils within the movement, then even the next wave of Maandamano, we are going to be facing the same bottlenecks, the same hurdles. And so I was saying we'd rather spend 1 year, 2 years doing in-house cleaning, so that we can tell that the people who are together with us, the people who are with us are playing the long game, and they are not susceptible to inducements. Because for me, even if today I was met with those guys and they gave me 10 million, 10 million is not even worth half of even worth the effort and the whatever I have expended. So I would not even entertain such conversations with characters telling me to sell out, telling me to do what. But there are some people who just appeared out of nowhere. And I need to understand, where did you lose the plot? How did you not know the people who have been together with you from the jump? And then you immediately gravitated to these characters. I need to know, is it a very media orientation? Is your stupidity deliberate? Is it coincidental? Is it manufactured? Is it choreographed from a higher? Because you cannot be stupid, all of you, like that. You cannot. You cannot be sending 30 million people. That was resources you removed, you drained from the movement, and then you have, without any honor or shame, You come to tell us, the people who have built this momentum up until that point where the opportunists hijacked it, you come and tell us now, oh, you guys are not. No, this stupidity is staggering. We have not seen these levels of stupidity in a long while. So we are going to fall into the trap of the older generations who have come before us. We are going to fall into the trap of the people who, we've been talking about boomers and Gen X's, how the politicians come last minute. How do they come last minute? They come and grade your roads. They come and give you unga and sugar. What difference is between that generation who are susceptible to handouts to you, who you have money, instead of directing the money to the right areas, to the people who have guided this movement to where it is currently? And now they've disappeared. Now the people you gave the money have disappeared. Boni, you don't see him. Hanifa has gone to do her biashara. Osama doesn't care. In fact, these days he doesn't even hide his love for Ruto. He's professing it without any honor or shame. All those guys whom you supported and you defended during that period suddenly have abandoned you. And then now you want me, who you did not give a penny, do you want me now to continue? In fact, you're speaking with a lot of entitlement. I meet people, even I know that, you want Americs to expand. You want Americs to be here. You want Cyprian Nyakundi to be here. They have been on the grind for the last 10 years. You gave people 30 million, and then you want us to clap for you as if it's business as usual. No. We have to call out stupidity when we see it. We have to call out ignorance when we see it. We've been talking about ignorance. We're talking about the educational curriculum. I've seen Mwalimu Wandia Njoya over here. She always trying to talk about CBC and 844 because they have left us. It is deliberate. The stupidity is not, it is choreographed from somewhere, from a higher place. Why must you be so susceptible to what the media tells you? Just because somebody has gone for a media interview, he goes on what? He goes on this media house and whatever. Suddenly he's your king. Suddenly he's the Gen Z leader. No, we are leaderless, not because of our hate for leadership, but because the ideology, it transcends individual, personal interest. It transcends all of us. It is important because we are breaking systems that were built by the colonialists, and the colonialists bequeath them unto the current crop of political elites so that we can continue remaining in a state of oppression. Now, if you're not ready to fight that from the basics, you're sending, you're giving Hanifa 30 million. Are you fucked in the head? Are you crazy? You're giving Hanifa all that money for what? That was money that should have gone to content creators. Was money should have gone to t-shirts. And what? Should have gone to food. Should have gone to a PA system so that we are addressing each other when we are in the maandamano. Nothing of the sort was done. They didn't buy even vuvuzelas. They didn't even buy whistles. They must have spent only 3 million shillings. So 27 million shillings a chick has embezzled. And we are supposed to act as if it's business as usual. But you want me to put my life on the line? Me, I slept in fucking Kamukunji police station, the shittiest police station in Kenya. I slept there. You want me to put my life on the line? You want me to be in court? My lawyers so far is costing 600,000 so far. You want me to put my life and my money on the line for the movement, and then you want to gravitate around the opportunists who have come here. It's embarrassing to think. It's embarrassing. It's a shame to see how we've regressed as a country. And we are here, we are judging the shags people that, oh, these guys are dumb. These guys. Have you looked at your latest financial decisions? Have you looked at your latest personal decisions? Who are you surrounding yourself? Because if you're gravitating around these opportunists, these frauds, these last-minute conmen who jumped on a bandwagon just because there was some gravy to be eaten, then it shows that even in your personal decisions, you're useless people, you're hopeless people. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Sorry, Americs. Let me wind up because I'm angry about this issue. Yes. People have been antagonizing me. People have been trolling me, telling me, but today, like Friday after bombers, everyone is telling me, oh, Gaido was right about Kaswe. I have always been right. You just are too blind. You need to remove those wooden goggles that you are wearing. We are telling you, if you want this movement to succeed, we have to have a change, a mindset. We have to change how we think, change how we do things. Because you don't neglect me, and then you want me to do the dirty work for you later. Don't neglect the people who have done the dirty work. Yeah, everyone is just talking crap here about Jimmy. Jimmy has done the forensic audit of our debt. We have been using the details that he has been doing to educate people that this is, listen, I used to know that we were stolen money. I used to know money was stolen. I never knew up until I listened to one of those forensic audits presentations. We have people who have been going to court, getting court orders every time. You've never supported them. You just see anyone trending, you move there. Is that my problem? No, it's you. You need to introspect. You need to think to yourselves whether you've been doing the right thing. And then before you open your mouth to troll me, ask yourself whether you can be able to sacrifice the money, my life I've sacrificed, I've altered. I don't even live in the same place twice. I don't even do everything. I stopped even drinking where I used to drink because I am sacrificing for the long term. Are you ready to sacrifice? If you're ready to sacrifice, then change your mindset. Stop thinking like shit and be about something. That's all I have to say today. Thank you, Amerix, for hosting me.
Thank you very much. Don't think like shit. You see, the biggest problem we have in this country is that we do not understand the difference between a government, state, a country, a nation. And then we don't understand the role of an MP and the Constitution. Just give me a minute, I explain. Allow me to explain before Nelson comes in and Wanjiru. A country is a geographical region. So people agree that someone's speaker or microphone is on. I don't know if it is mine. Yeah, it's Francis. Okay. A country is a geographical region. So you agree that this region will have boundaries this way. And you know, a country can have smaller countries. So like Kenya is a country, then we have counties. Those are small countries within the country. So a country is just a geographical region with resources, physical resources, rivers, mountains, minerals, wild animals, people, livestock, crops. That's a country. But a nation is a set of beliefs that people agree on. So people agree on a set of beliefs, morals, values. That's a nation. That's why we can have a Teso nation in Kenya and another Teso nation in Uganda. We can have a Luo nation in Kenya and a Luo nation in South Sudan. So a nation is a set of belief that is embraced by people. So that's the difference. And then a government is a system that has been mandated by the Constitution to manage the resources of the country, not the nation. A government cannot manage a nation. You cannot legislate values and morals. You can't, because these are things we believe in. If you believe that someone is a thief or don't steal, a government cannot legislate that. I will tell you in the next definition. Now we have state. A state is a constitutional organization that dictates. A state dictates how a government will manage resources. And the head of the state is the president. Now we have the Constitution. The Constitution is the spirit of the nation. So if we believe in something together and then put it on paper, it becomes a constitution. A constitution is not that paper that you have, that booklet, the words written there. A constitution is a belief, is what you believe as a nation. And the seat of the constitution is in the parliament. That's where the spirit of the nation sits. A member of parliament, in Kiswahili, we call him mjumbe. The work of mjumbe ni kupeleka ujumbe bungeni. So he comes to the constituency, listens to you, then mnampatia ujumbe. A member of parliament is a messenger. He is not a mheshimiwa. He is a messenger. He's supposed to carry your message to the seat of the constitution, to the seat of your spirit as a nation. So he says, kule nimetoka, nimepewa ujumbe ya kwamba hatutaki 1, 2, 3, 4. But we live in a country where the member of parliament anapeleka ujumbe wa president kwa wananchi, badala ya kuchukua ujumbe wa wananchi apeleke bungeni. That's where we have a problem. We don't understand our roles. Our leaders or politicians don't understand their roles. Now, the constitution, which is the spirit of the nation, has been defiled. When those young men were killed at the parliament, when blood was spilled at the parliament, it means our spirit has been defiled. And therefore, that building called parliament has to be cleansed. And anyone who sits in that parliament has to vacate that house. Otherwise, any legislation that comes out of that parliament, any pronouncements that come out of that parliament is null and void because it is against the spirit of the nation. And if an MP is listening to me today, I want to tell you, you are all cursed. Anything you say in that parliament will come to haunt you and your children and your children and your children, unless you come out of that parliament, resign today and say, this parliament has been defiled. I cannot continue staying here. Let me go back to the people and apologize to them. They sent me to parliament and I didn't do what they sent me to do there. I am resigning, I am apologizing, and I am not vying again for any seat in this country. My people, I beg you, forgive me. Forgive me. We have defiled the spirit of the nation. We are the wrong people to speak about legislation. We are sorry. Forgive us. Nelson, the petition. What is going on?
Thank you, Americ. So there's a lot going on, and it's a very sad time for our nation because, as you have said, that we have a country that is messed up. Parliament is basically sitting on the blood of the people that were killed at the parliament. So for me, my update on the petition is first of all, Jayesh Saini, the perpetrator of state capture at the moment, and Adil Kawaja, they have taken me to court. So they took me to court, and they say that I'm just gonna read what they wrote in this court. They're called what? I'm forgetting the name. So this the court document. This is what they said in this court document, that the defendant, who is me, false and malicious posts were calculated to disparage the plaintiff, who is Jayesh, and the other plaintiffs, his family in negative light as health insurance fraudsters and corrupt individuals who have formed a cabal to capture the public healthcare system in Kenya. The posts, masquerading as fair comment, in their ordinary and plain meaning, are defamatory in nature and have severely injured the plaintiff's reputation extensively by lowering their estimation before right-thinking members of society. The defendant did not seek the appropriate legal channels on the alleged and unsubstantiated criminal conducts of the plaintiffs and his family, instead published the defamatory and malicious posts. Further, these posts, including the first plaintiff's personal information shared without his consent, have exposed the plaintiffs to public odium, hatred, contempt, and ridicule. The referenced posts are highly malicious and disparaging considering their digital nature and widespread viewing, reading, as any person has access to them and are still in circulation. This has left the plaintiffs and first plaintiff's family with permanent reputational damage, as the exposure has resulted in continuous animosity, shame, embarrassment, contempt, and ridicule from members of the society. The words complained of meant and were understood by the right thinking members of society to mean. So, this is what they say I meant. And to be honest, I really believe that this is what Jayesh and the cabal are. They say that the particulars of the libel and defamation and falsity are his family, Jayesh and his family, are health insurance fraudsters, which is very true. using the second to fifth plaintiffs to perpetuate this crime. I'm going to show you, I'm going to demonstrate how there are health fraudsters in Kenya. Jayesh and his family are engaged in a network of commercial enterprise using Bliss Healthcare, Life Care, Africa, Life Care, all these companies. Jayesh and his family are complicit in shady deals that subvert the legal and acceptable commercial enterprise. The plaintiffs are unscrupulous and undeserving of honor. The plaintiff is guilty of dishonest and dishonorable conduct. The plaintiffs are unfit to associate with respectable persons. So, and there are a few others going down. And so Amerix, you see, these people, Jayesh, Adil Kawaja, and all the other people involved in this health scam and also involved in bringing the Adani group to Kenya. If you look at the way they operate, I'm making a chart, I'm mapping out the companies that they own in Kenya. They own, first of all, a company called Africa Global. So this is like a group that they have formed. And under this group, there is Bliss Healthcare, there is NMC Fertility Center. So all these companies, there is even Afrigreen Automobile. It's not even in the healthcare. It's in they want to do EVs in Kenya. It's also owned by Jayesh and all these people. And then Afrigreen Automobile recently purchased Mobius. So they're the reason why Mobius was hit by KRA. So KRA wanted 80 million from Mobius. Mobius said they cannot pay. And the government was like, okay, then you can ship out. And a month later, some anonymous buyer came, and the anonymous buyer was Afrigreen Automobile. Afrigreen Automobile is owned by Jayesh and their associates. And then it gets even more interesting. There is a company that was registered in 2022. It's called Star Discovery Life Insurance. Star Discovery Life Insurance is owned by a consortium of companies that are based in Hong Kong. So there are 4 companies in Hong Kong. And then in Kenya, the directors are the same directors in Africa, same directors in Bliss, same directors in Apiero. So Apiero is the company that has been given the tender to do the shift system. Apiero is the company also that had Judy Mwenda Gatabaki, the wife of Devin Lee, as one of the directors. The other directors are linked to Star Discovery, and they're also linked to another company called SIH Africa. SIH Africa owns Apiero, and SIH Africa shares the same directors with Africa Global, Bliss Healthcare, NMC Fertility, Afrigreen Automobile, same. There is one guy who's very prominent in all this. His name is Nishant Mishra. He's in almost all the CR12s. And it doesn't stop there. There is a company called Makil. So Makil is the medical administrator for the insurance that runs police and teachers healthcare. So same directors, same Indians, same Kenyans who are in the directorship. Life Care is also another clinic in Kenya. And there is Medicross, and there are so many others that I haven't yet included in my map. And all these, they all share the same directors, they share the same location, and they even share the same secretary. So the company secretary, you will find there is one called Lena Chelangat, and then there's another one called Angeline Akelo. So they share company secretaries across all their companies. And it's laughable that Jayesh Saini would say, how do you say, I am accusing him of being an insurance fraudster and a health fraudster. And yes, he is. He is actually a perpetrator of state capture. He's, in state capture is where a small number of business people are the ones, are the ones controlling the business environment, the resources of a country. And this is exactly what is happening in Kenya. Jayesh, Adil, and some other Indians. There is the KNH chairman, also he's also an Indian. and the politicians of the day. They are the ones who have held this country on its knees. And the healthcare is collapsing. I have so many DMs of people, administrators of private hospitals, people working for these Jayesh clinics, and other people, in private hospitals. Like, let's say, for example, Nairobi Women's Hospital is collapsing, and one of the reasons why is that NHIF does not pay them, and there's so many other hospitals that NHIF owes them billions of shillings. It's very interesting that some hospitals, NHIF owes them billions, while...
Just okay. Okay, Nelson. Can you hear me,
Yeah,
Nelson?
I can hear you.
Yeah. We have issues in Kenya since morning. There's been no electricity, a lot of issues. So you'll bear with us today. But Nelson, hold there. I want to welcome Dr. Chibanzi. And after that, we'll have Wanjiru to tell us the story of her father struggling with kidney failure and unable to get treatment because of NHIF closure. So Nelson, stay around. Chibanzi, how are you, sir?
I am well, and you? I hope you can hear me.
Hello, Chibanzi.
Hello? Am I audible enough?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, Daktari. Habari gani?
Salama sana, habari gani?
Hello, Chibanzi.
Yes.
Okay, Wanjiru, go on. What is the problem? And
Yes.
where are you calling us from?
Hi, Eric. Hi, Amerix. My name is Wanjiro. I am dialing in from Cape Town, South Africa, but I'm Zalendo. My heart is always in Kenya. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much, Americ Cyprian, for these spaces that you host. I truly appreciate them because they are a great platform for us to vent, discuss solutions, and build networks with people who are like-minded in our project of Okoa Kenya, and it's just fantastic what people are doing. Good afternoon, good morning. It is evening on my side. It's night time. So I'm just going to give a very short story about my father.
Can you get closer to your mic because you sound to be in some echo or some hollow place.
Can you hear me? I can remove my multimedia. I can disconnect my multimedia.
Yes.
Is that clearer?
Yeah, it's clearer. Yes.
So my dad was diagnosed with end-stage kidney disease about 8 years ago, and he's only got about 6% kidney function, and he's been undergoing dialysis for the last for about twice a week, but sometimes it has to be about 3 times a week. So even if NHIF was flawed, it covered 100% of the dialysis costs at approximately about 9,500 per session. And that included also tests to monitor his overall health, the effectiveness of the dialysis, to manage complications, etc. All he had to pay was actually medication for his hypertension, which was the underlying cause of the kidney failure. So patients with end-stage kidney disease, and I can see there are doctors here. I'm just going to speak as a daughter who cares about her father's health. And please correct me if I get it. Every dialysis session. So we've decided to keep him at MP Shah Hospital because it is extremely competent. He's got quick access to emergency doctors in case of complications. So we cannot move a 75-year-old fragile man to a cheaper facility. So it is scary. So under NHIF, whenever they went for dialysis, and as long as they were in the system, they would be dialyzed and then they would be discharged very quickly. But on the day shift was actually implemented, my dad and many other friends of his, we've prolonged his life for more than 8 years. You can calculate that. They went in at 3 o'clock in the morning and they were dialyzed as usual. But upon release, the system went and checked and found that it had been switched off. So there was absolutely no communication. They were not aware. They were all held. They were told you cannot leave the hospital without paying your bill. So with my dad's situation, he had to pay 11,500. This is a man who's 75 years old without a source of income. But they've been told going forward, anyone else coming to this facility to seek treatment, they must pay upfront. Now, let's just do a quick calculation. If he's going to be having 3 sessions of dialysis a week, at the worst, we're going to be paying a bill of 138,000 shillings a month. How many Kenyans can afford that? So some of us can scramble this money together, and it is proving to be, it's going to prove to be very difficult, but majority of the Kenyans cannot. And despite my big black tax responsibilities at home beyond and beyond, this is just an amount I just could not have budgeted for. Now, if a kidney failure patient misses dialysis even once or twice, harmful substances actually go into the brain, and it causes a condition called uremia. So it becomes so overwhelmed with toxins, and I've seen it happen before with him. You lose consciousness, go into a coma, you can get a cardiac arrest, and you'll die. Now, here is the issue. Depending on the state of your kidneys and your average state of health, you will die within a couple of days or a week or so. So let us do a few calculations. According to the Kenya Renal Association, we've got about 12,000 people in Kenya who've got end-stage kidney disease. And the statistics are not as accurate, but assuming that we've got 8,000 patients undergoing dialysis, scores of people will die, and it is preventable. Over the next few days, we are facing a catastrophe. And my dad has crashed a couple of times. Several times I've watched him. And the way when we revive him and he explains what it is to die like that, it's like drowning. It's a horrible way to go. So even if you're able to sell a few cows and goats and land, that money will eventually run out and the patient will still die. Now, in some WhatsApp groups that have got renal patients, we've seen people even declaring that they're going to commit suicide because they can't go and sell all this and then still die because they're going to leave their families destitute. Now, I hope Moses Kuria or his goons and people are listening to me today. That gangster is shamelessly prostituting himself across numerous media channels, trying to defend this colossal disaster. Listen to this. He is obsessed about capturing data of Kenyans, and he is blinded to the human as we've called a few, and they've stated that they simply switched it off. There is no coexistence between NHIF and SHIF. That is nonsense. It is a white lie, and it is a disastrous PR stint. And we've called NHIF several times, and even the employees there don't know what's happening. And then his flippant story of nobody should be turned around. I mean, I think Amerix, you run a clinic. Is there any hospital that can run and provide services in the hope of a miracle that they're going to be paid? These things cost money. So obviously, they're not giving these services because they cannot be guaranteed of payment either by the patient or by the insurance provider. And then he talks about the portability of contributions. I mean, he has talked so much nonsense, but the worst bit for me is when he says that he is over the moon about how the shift is rolling out. What kind of standards are we accepting as Kenyans? Is it excellent when people are denied access to healthcare and they're left to die? This man is out there bragging, saying that he's setting up a system that has never been tested anywhere in the world. He is selling an untested, dangerous experiment without a pilot. And if anybody knows what a pilot is, it's putting together a system that is in a controlled environment to test its feasibility, identify the challenges, test solutions, and to reduce risk, amongst others. They just went off with this big thing and they never even tested it. This Kenya government is reckless in implementing this shift. In fact, if you remove the F, you will end up with T. Francis has got better words to pronounce that word, SHIT. It is a deliberate dereliction of duty and a cold-hearted disregard for human life. This is a catastrophe of unimaginable proportions that is going to precipitate in this country. And those charlatans that allowed this thing to go the way it was, they are guilty of nothing less than sponsored genocide by the state against the people of Kenya. It is criminal negligence and they should be prosecuted. This is a criminal enterprise. People, please, Kenyans, I have put my foot forward because civic education, just donate, just like Francis was saying, just donate 2 hours of your time to the project Okoa Kenya. It's not that bad. I've put my foot forward. I am building an organization with a few Mzalendo Kenyans of mine in Kenya, and we are really working towards delivering a new country. As you say, Francis, we can volunteer our time, and everybody in Kenya, you cannot be defeated. 56 million people cannot be defeated by one person. If you've got any skill that you would like to donate to our organization, we're calling ourselves Taifa Mpya. We have a vision of being part of this movement that is delivering a new country, rebirthing a new country that we reimagine. Kenya reimagined. What is that country that we want to see? We have to be deliberate in helping midwife it. And all of you people.
Hold there. Hold on there. Hold on there, Wanjiru. Don't go. Just hold on there. You'll tell us more about this
Right.
Taifa Mpya, Okoa Kenya. You said something
Taifa
Okoa
Mpya.
Kenya? Taifa Mpya. Okay, hold on. You'll tell us more about it shortly. Let me bring Chibanzi.
Yes, sir.
Daktari, how are you?
Fine.
How is Mombasa?
Niko Nairobi. I hope you can hear me.
Are you there, sir? We can't hear you.
We can hear you. I can hear him on my side.
Okay.
Oh, he's talking.
Yeah. So I think I've listened in on what Wanjiru has said and listened in on what Nelson has spoken. And in reality, we are faced with a very difficult, and not even difficult. What we have is people who don't really care for human life. What's the situation on the current social health authority and the insurance fund and all that? So what happened is exactly what has been described by Wanjiru, that systems were switched off on Tuesday on 1st of October. The NHIF systems were switched off. So the question that then comes is, if you're rolling out, you need to prepare for the system in terms of making sure that you have providers on board, the healthcare facilities on board, you have the system on board, you must have done a pilot. Up until now, there is no contract between the social health authority and the healthcare providers. The healthcare providers here being the facilities themselves that will offer services. So it's more of politics being played around, that you go to the hospital, you will get treatment and all that. But in reality, there's nothing in place to transition this from NHIF to SHIF or SHA. There's nothing literally. So, and then the other thing is, what is not being said, and this is information that is not out there in the public, that the rates that have been prescribed here, the private sector is not on board. The private sector is not on board because they are not in the business.
Banyarwandakazi
They're in business. They're not in the
bari mu
business.
mpande zose z'isi aho
In public facilities. Public facilities are not making profit. Private facilities are people who set up their facilities, improve their services more than what is in the public, and they've invested. So their profit margins that they normally look at. So the contracts that are going to be signed, and that is not being said and not being told to Kenyans, is that you will have to co-pay. By co-pay, what does that mean? It means even after you've been deducted the 2.75%, if you're salaried, for those who are salaried, regardless of the amount, if you're earning 100,000, 50,000, it's a significant amount, because every month at the end of the year we're looking at 60, 70, up to 100,000, 300,000. You will still have, when you go to a facility, and this is the other lie, that when you go to a facility that is public, you have the choice, public or private. So if you go to a public, there's no extra costs. That's what is being said. But in the private sector, you'll basically have to pay up. So after the deductions, you still have to pay for service. And the paying for service is only two options. Either you procure private insurance cover for you and your family. And in reality, this is also not very cheap. I mean, how many Kenyans can today afford private insurance? It's very minimal Kenyans. And the other thing is, if you can't afford the private health insurance, you must look for money to pay for the service. So there's an argument from the government side that it's happening anyway. But you see, the amounts that people have been deducted from their salaries have allowed them to be able to pay for people somehow. They're keen. I mean, they're relatives, and that's where people talk about black tax and all that. So essentially, it's a lie that you can choose any facility. The other angle that I think, if you watched what was happening in Parliament last week when the Ministry of Health went to present their case, and when they were even asked about the 104 billion Kenya shillings for the privately sourced tender to build that technology system, one thing that came out is that an upgrade of the NHIF system would have cost maybe 700 million. Of course, 700 million looks quite a lot. It's actually a lot. And then the other thing is that even with that, the amount of monies that have been allocated to offer and pay for service, which is what they're saying, there are three funds, you will get paid for chronic diseases like what Wajiri was talking about in terms of diabetes, dialysis, and all that. They have underfunded. They have not allocated. The Ministry of Health in May, June went to Parliament and requested for monies that were slashed up and less, slashed by 95% almost, to very minimal amounts that will not cover everyone in this country in terms of that. So they are banking on the social health insurance fund, in which we'll be contributing to offer service to people. Now, when it comes to the informal sector, which is the biggest proportion of Kenyans, the system that they're talking about, this means testing. It's not even working. They have no way of telling who will work. In fact, at some point, you heard in Parliament them saying that it will be like Hustler Fund, and we all know the story of Hustler Fund. You don't need to go. I don't need to go into the details of that. So essentially, what you're seeing is that because salaried people are out there, it's easier to tax their monies from the employer. We just go ahead with that. The figures that are being proposed are not realistic. I mean, you've taxed people for housing levy to pay for houses that we will not even benefit from. Then secondly, now you're bringing in this health tax that is only being paid by a proportion of people. So I watched this video of this old man who was crying. I think most of you have seen it. Who was talking about how he has no money, he has kidney failure, he's feeling sick, and it's completely heartbreaking. These people have no empathy. And you look at what is being propagated, and I listened to what Nelson was saying, and it's not any further from the truth, in the sense that there's state capture to some extent. There's state capture actually, because how would you allocate more money for procuring a system and less money to offer services to people? It does not make sense unless people are going to benefit from this money that you're allocating at very high proportions. And that is where, unfortunately, if we do not talk, especially us in the health sector who've worked in this sector for years, we are going to see Kenyans suffer. This narrative that you will no longer have to pay harambes for your people, you will get free service, it's a lie. Because at the end of the day, you will still have to pay for yourself and pay for your families and pay for your relatives and pay for everyone who in your circle, because we are all supporting someone somewhere. That's the reality. So you're reducing the amount of money we are earning, all of us, whether we're in the formal or informal sector, and then you're squeezing us further by saying we'll have to co-pay. So where is this money going to come from? So you have a government that is making decisions that are utopic. They're out of touch with reality. There's one point that I also want you to, and I'll finish on this one, is this, that if you look at all this, it's very silent on how the political class will seek healthcare. If indeed there was sincerity and that we are all equal, or we are taking from, they're saying Robin Hood tax policies, look at the covers that the political class has. It's 10 million plus, 5 million plus for, and they have everything. But who is paying? Who is paying for these covers? It is us. It is the money that we are taxed that is going to pay for this. So it's a class divide here, where because you're a political class, you will get the best of healthcare at the expense of Kenyans who are contributing their taxes. Then you go ahead and tax them more, give them a very minimum basic package that does not, for instance, 900 shillings per person, per household. If you have children, you know how many times children fall sick in 3 months, in even a year. So if you go to the facility, you're told, and that is what's going to happen, that you will be billed. This is the amount. There was a doctor's consultation. There was tests that were done. And then now we have to give you medicine. So the bill comes to 3,000 or 2,000. And so you're told the government has paid for you 900 shillings as part of the universal health coverage that they're calling. So you have to pay for the rest. So if you don't have an insurance, please pay cash. That's going to be the scenario. So you can imagine how many people are going to go through. And then the last point that I've just remembered that is very critical is that the same Ministry of Health conducted an assessment of all healthcare facilities in terms of service delivery. And in reality, our facilities are not ready to offer this service. 77% of 14,000 facilities being ready to offer outpatient services, for instance. That's a very, very, very low figure. So you're telling us that you will send us there, then you go there are no drugs, there is no equipment to cater for you, and then if the service is poor and the queues are long, you have to find an alternative. The alternative, you still have to pay more. In all honesty, this system is a scam. And the worst thing that has ever happened is that they never listened to stakeholder recommendations. And I'm talking because I'm in this sector and I understand and I've been following this. No stakeholder recommendations were listened to. They stuck to where they were. And up until now, the position is where they are. They're going to go ahead with it, whether we like it or we don't like it. So it's upon us to decide as the people how we're going to tackle this and how we're going to push back, because if we don't push back, they will keep pushing. So it's a pushback. And I've been in this, I mean, for it's almost 10 years now. We've been in the union before, we have been jailed at some point. During COVID, we saw how people were dying, doctors were dying, and then now came the COVID scandals. It's a systematic thing, and we have to find a way of pushing back on this. Thank you, Amerix.
All right. Most of you don't know Daktari here. Daktari was among the union leaders who were jailed. Was that committee?
I was in Athi River, but we went to
You were
committee
in
at some point.
Yeah. So there's something you said when we were chatting. You told me that 20% of Kenyans are going to carry the burden of 80% of Kenya. Maybe you can summarize that.
Yeah. So this is how I'm going to explain it. If you look at the formal sector, which means those people who are earning salaries, every month they're paid a salary and they're employed, the percentage is that minimal percent. Our statistics are almost 20%. And then the bigger proportion of Kenyans are in the informal sector. Either you work in the Juakali sector or you have a business that you are running and so you're self-employed. And that is where the problem is. And by that I meant that for us, those of us who are working in the formal sector who have salaries, it is very easy for them to say this is which is what the law says that they have formed. This is a statutory deduction. So it will be deducted from your salary whether you like it or not. And I've been seeing over the weekend a few letters going around from employers in the public sector that go to because for one thing they did is migrated all formal sector employees from NHIF into SHA, and then they sent messages. I think there were messages going around last week telling people to go and fill in their profiles. And that is also not working, by the way, on the back end because the systems are not ready for this. So that means it gives them an assurance of this money that you're going to start with for the Social Health Authority and Social Health Insurance Fund, if you listen to them. Now, the informal sector is where now they're saying we're going to do means testing. They'll come to your house, look at your TV, look at what you own, watch, and then fill in some few questions. And then now from there, they'll determine how much you'll be paid. Now, if you're saying, and they're saying it's going to work like the Hustler Fund, look at the Hustler Fund and how they're also struggling with the 7 billion that they're unable to get from Kenyans. And if you look at the university funding model that also talked about the same thing, means testing and the banding and all that, it's not worked. It has to be reviewed. So now you're causing chaos in a sector that is literally life and death. I listened to Wanjiru, and when someone is sick, they're chronically ill, they don't have time. It's either they get treatment or if they don't get treatment, they will die. So how do you roll out a system you have not prepared and you're insisting that it must go on, despite being told you need to do 1, 2, 3. They have not signed contracts. So that is what I meant, that if you look at it critically, they have no way of getting money from the people in the informal sector. They're just talking of means, which is very theoretical, but practically, how will a mama mboga, chini mwenye anauza mboga pale, how will that mama mboga go into a phone? In fact, wengine hata wako na kabambe. You're saying you're sending community health promoters, they fill in. And then the thing is this, that if you're unable to pay the premium, because the premium per law that is in the Social Health Authority Act is that you should pay, if you're not in the formal sector, you should pay the full amount in a year. That 300 shilling you talk about, you're not going to pay it every month. It has to be paid times 12 months, which is what? 12 times 300 is 3,600. So they're saying, because you're unable to pay, your income is erratic, we are going to give you a loan. And then once you've gotten the loan to pay for the insurance, you will have to now pay back the loan according to how much you're getting, even if it's erratic. Why are we going into financing in terms of a loan? Does it even make sense? It doesn't, in all honesty. And that is why I'm saying 20, this minimal percent will actually take care of the bigger population. That's not our responsibility. They're collecting taxes from us. So once they've collected taxes from us, it's a responsibility of the government to now offer the service. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much Daktari for that. Na kwa wale wenye wamestruggle kusikia, daktari anasema hivi. Anasema unapata hospitali umepewa 10,000 na hiyo kitu yao inaitwa SHA SHIF. Unafika kwa hospitali bili inakuja ni 30,000. So inamaanisha mgonjwa wako hawezi toka hospitali until you pay the 30,000. So this SHA sheet has given you 10,000. So you have to look for the 20,000. Otherwise hawezi toka kwa hiyo hospitali. That is the mess that this sheet is creating in this country. Na ukiona hapo topic ya leo nimeita our sweat, our blood, our urine and our tears. Our blood. Tuna struggle kama wa Kenya.
Reading and it will reduce Kamlesh part now with people wanalazimisha SHIF ingie into play. Now, SHIF is a boat that is porous before it starts. Actually, it's a stillbirth. It's a dead on arrival. When you are launching something and it's not peaking, the public participation is dull. The people feeling it carries the canopy of oppression, then definitely that's a wrong ship to board. I'll start here, like how my brother Dr. Mwachonda, and thank you Mwachonda for expounding some of these things. You cannot subject 3 million civil servants to pay for the health of 50 million Kenyans. There can be better models which can accommodate an entire, but you're deducting 2.75% of gross ni before hata taxi guzwe, then you're deducting such an amount of a civil servant, which means if you're earning 1 million bob, unaenda kutoa 2.75% of that. So basically they are forcing you to double tax so that they can have a bigger pool of where money can be stolen. And this is where the ridiculousness is. What are the benefits of the monies that we are being deducted every month? What are the benefits of the monies that they are telling you as a boda boda or a mama mboga that we will come to pime TV yako ni how many inch? So when you come to my house and my son has bought me a 55-inch TV, does that mean that that is my house worth? Oh, okay. So maybe you took a loan in your local chama or a merry-go-round and you owe a few cups which are of glass. Does that give the government audacity to tell that you are as worth as the cup which are in your cupboard? That is total nonsense and a total sham. That is why SHIF is coming to it's a fraud from the start. And I'll tell you practically what is happening in the hospitals. Last week, I work in the MTRH, and I've seen common letters from MTRH, from KUTRH, from KNH, letters which are similar, only the font and the nini pale juu imebadilika, the emblem, but similar, trying to prove that oh, people are being treated and Shiv is working and people are coming. I saw a letter which was very laughable from KU. We've done 10 dialysis. Come on, why are you bragging for doing 10 dialysis to Kenyans? What nonsense is that? Dialysis is people's right. This is how these people are getting their health and orienting themselves as per health demands of them. You can't write to people letters bragging how you've done dialysis. So is that how cheap you've become because you're just trying to force some insurance to people? In On Wednesday last week, I was supposed to make a theater list in Spain to be operated on Thursday. NHIF owes MTRH over 2.3 billion shillings. Now, there is a rollover. Watu wanafaa waingie shift. Aya, kuna mtu mwenye amepata pre-authorization ya NHIF who we were supposed to operate on Thursday. Then when they are coming, we are struggling to have them on the theater list, and we are told, oh, we even have struggles with NHIF. They have not even cleared us. So they'd rather come when shift has stabilized. The fact is, shift will never stabilize. It will not stabilize soon. And I pray that it collapses so that we get a better orientation. Why should shift fall? It should fall because the services which have been given by shift are totally bizarre. They are a joke. Unaweza ambiaje mtu eti your dental cover for a year is 935 bob. Kwani hiyo ni ya kununua toothpaste na brush ndio usugue meno? You know, it's just joke kabisa. How can you tell someone that your optical cover is 2,000 shillings? 2,000 shillings ya kufanya nini? Ya kununua kioo tujiangalilie. So everything in this shift is just created from mediocrity. And I'm sorry, I know there are people who are surrounding the president and the Ministry of Health. When I heard the CS answering and explaining herself about shift, it was just a joke. You listen to her, she's very clueless. People have to stand up and try to salvage her, like totally rudderless. She does not know what she's defending. She does not. She says, "Oh, Safaricom, imekuja. Safaricom is part of the government parastatal." Like total shame. And some of these people in government should do their researches very well before they come to media and they tell us about stuff. Because we are the basic service provider. When a patient who's receiving dialysis misses dialysis, I'll not see that patient in the next 3 sessions. They'll be dead. You see, when a person who has come, last week I saw people who came for chemo in Chandaria being told to come back again. How much chance do you have for a patient who's receiving chemo mwenye tunatuma nyumbani angoje shift is stabilized? So there is another report we may never see, which will be happening in the depths of our village. People are going to die. Why? They are going to die because they can't get access to cover. And there's something that the government is really bragging about. Is bragging about the people who have gotten into shift. There is too much panic in around, which is cutting across. Many people relied on NHIF to receive their dialysis, to receive their chemotherapy, their antihypertensive. Many people have diabetes, and all these things were being run by an insurance company. So one morning, when government is saying we have closed door for NHIF, what happens next? Of course, people will go in a panic. Everybody will be running around to try and register so that they can still pick their drugs. Sadly, the government is looking at that, seeing like, oh, our people are very motivated to join this shift. No, people are not motivated. Shift is not right for anybody. We have seen we are the first primary people on the ground, and I can tell our Kenyan citizens that shift does not work. One of the better things to show you that something is good is the simplicity of it. You don't need 1,000 paragraphs to explain how something is good. You just need to say this thing is about your healthcare. Now look at this. We're having 104 billion shillings, which is being set on just database. Are we even understanding what that is? Like we have three arms. We have a primary health care fund, emergency and chronic illness fund, and then the social health insurance fund. The primary health care fund and emergency and chronic illness funds are funded by the exchequer. Now, the 2.75% and the monies they are saying they are coming to interview our caps and radios and TVs are going to fund the social health insurance fund. Now, from this money, you're telling us that they are not even, you're not going to assign monies to this healthcare provision. You're going to assign most of those monies to create database. Hii database inaenda kusaidia nani? What is the use of you creating database for us, yet I'm still struggling and suffering? Why would you take 104 billion shillings to create database, yet you're running a healthcare funding system? So what is the essence of the name of healthcare funding system? Then just call it database funding system, and then part of the helps that we'll get in healthcare is part of the monies will go to healthcare. So we find this shifting very, very unnecessary right now. I know they have put a lot of politics which are superseding it, but I want to really encourage us to be very vigilant. Let us not allow this shift. If we allow shift to slide into this carpet and below our feet, we will go back to the days where we will be doing harambes. How can we have a document that says for you to be treated for prostate tumors or prostate associated diseases, you must be 55 years and above? How do we have a document that separates cancer patients and removes youths who are susceptible also to receive to get tumors from the scope of management of tumors? So basically, my brother Eric, this document is very, very bad. And lastly, allow me just to speak, because we are in healthcare. We have our intern doctors who are away from work. There was a court process that was supposed to be finished last month. It was postponed to this month on 17th. Now, all intern doctors in this country are away from work on a strike. Who are the primary care, let alone intern doctors alone, intern doctors, clinical officers, nurses, all the interns of healthcare provision? Aren't these people the same persons who provide healthcare deliverables in the hospitals? Sasa sisi hapa tuko tuna madaktari, nurses, clinical officers who are doing internship. They are not even being paid, and the doctors, interns are away from work. And we have audacity to say we are rolling out a shift program, yet you can't even pay the interns. If you go to any local hospital in the county, 80% probability of the person who will do a cesarean section on you is an intern doctor. 90% probability of a person you will see treating you in casualty is an intern doctor. Intern doctors run 95% of health workmanship in this country. Right now, they are away from work. Serikali haitaki kuaddress hiyo mambo. It's forcing shift on people. Why are you jumping? So what is the interest? We know we have a businessman president where pali pesa iko hapo ndio anaweka. Wakati airport inaweza mpatia a few coins, analeta adani hapo. Sai Murkomen anataka kuuza viwanja za mpira kwa maana itampatia kitu. Health, it's just because he'll make some profit. But you see, juzi tulikuwa tunauziwa kokoto na mafia mbuzi ndani just because it can give him something. But at whose expense? At what cost of the livelihoods of the people in this country? I think we just need to refresh ourselves, appear in the streets, refuse this shift and everything that is being brewed from a corrupt system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Darwin, for that. And you've raised a very, very, very valid points. Kama kuna mtu hajasikia, kama kuna mtu haelewi, this one has come from the horse's mouth. The people who work at the hospital, the people who interact with those patients. So imeguja from the horse's mouth. So don't doubt, don't listen to politicians. And before I go, I want to bring Francis ndio nimrelease. But I want to tell you something. This country began going to the dogs in 2013. Munipatie tu dakika moja niwa explainie. Hope you listen to me. So in 2010 tulipitisha katiba mpya. 2010. Na katiba yetu ilitangazwa kuwa one of the best constitutions in the world. Because iko na chapter, I think it's chapter 12, yenye inaongea juu ya public finance management. So inamaanisha kama wewe ni public servant na umechukua pesa, you have to account for that money. So tuliandika a chapter ya constitution vile pesa taxes za Wakenya zinakuwa used. So in 2012 wabunge wakapitisha something called the Public Finance Management Act. Hiyo Public Finance Management Act kuna kitu iliandika hapo ikasema pesa yote ya Wakenya inaingia kwa kitu inaitwa Consolidated Fund. Na ika explain vile hiyo pesa inatolewa hapo, vile controller of budget ana authorize hiyo pesa vile itatumika, and then ikishatumika auditor general anarudi kuangalia vile hiyo pesa imetumika from the Consolidated Fund. Sasa these two twins Mandugu Digital wakaingia kwa power 2013. So wakati waliingia kwa power wakapata system zinafanya kazi. So wakajiuliza tutamake aje pesa. Kitu ya kwanza walifanya, they sent Kimani Ichung'wah to parliament. Kimani Ichung'wah was the chairman of the budget committee 2013. So 2014 waka amend that Public Finance Management Act. Inaitwa Public Finance Management Act 2014. Imekuwa amended iko several after that, but I'm on the 2014 one. Sasa hawa jamaa wakaongeza another clause chini ya Consolidated Fund ya kwamba the government can come up with a secret consolidated fund. So Uhuru na Ruto ile pesa walikuwa na collect uko nje, madeni, manini, ma Eurobond, ilikuwa inaingia kwa hiyo private consolidated fund. Na mimi as a Kenyan sijui who is the signatory behind that fund ama that consolidated fund. So now this is what they used to do. Nataka munisikie vizuri. So juu pesa imeingia kwa hiyo consolidated fund ya kisiri na hawataki kushikwa, they added another clause ya kusema pesa inaweza toka hapo na ilipe supplier wa direct. You get it? Imeshika mpaka hapo. So this private consolidated fund wanaweza ingia hapo bila ruhusa, watoe pesa, walipe direct to the supplier without involving the parliament. So now this is what these guys used to do. Wakitaka kutoa pesa hapo ndani, wanaenda wana identify project. Wanasema hii barabara ni 7 billion. So what they do, they look for a contractor. Wanaambia contractor, leta your BQs and everything. So contractor analeta. So contractor akishapeana hizo vitu, wanafuata tu sheria vizuri vile inatakikana, and then wanaenda wanatoa pesa. Wakitoa pesa wanaweka kwa account ya contractor. So contractor anaenda site, media inaitwa, Wakenya wanaitwa, red carpet inawekwa hapo, plaque inawekwa hapo, this road is being commissioned by the president, blah 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 blah. And then after that 2 days later they call the contractor. They tell the contractor, boss, wewe baki na 10%, turudishe hiyo pesa ingine. So contractor yeye anakaa kwa site 1 or 2 months, anachukula 10% yake, the 90% inaingia kwa mifuko za hawa jamaa. That's why unaona projects mingi zimekwama. That's why unaona watu kama Morara walikuwa wanaenda kwa different projects wakisema hii ilikwama lakini pesa ilikuwa allocated. Hii ilikwama lakini pesa ilikuwa allocated. Let me tell you something, Kenyans. Hakuna vile project inaweza kuwa commissioned na haijakuwa allocated pesa. There is nothing like pesa ya hiyo project iliisha. Pesa huwa inatolewa, inaallocatiwa, and then people pocket the money. That's how money has been withdrawn from this private consolidated fund. Na kama wabunge wetu wangekuwa watu wazuri, they would have raised a red flag on that private consolidated fund. Yenye pesa ya deni inaingia ndani, and then people withdraw that money in the pretext of funding or paying suppliers when you wametengeneza barabara, wametengeneza dam. And that's why you'll see someone like Ruto ako kwa hii project leo, After 2 years, I got the same project. After 3 years, I got the same project, because these are called cash cows. Francis, mambo ya Shiv, and then I release you Wende.
Me, I wanted to speak about Shiv, but me nikisikia the name Uhuru Kenyatta, I just start shaking. I'm shivering. I'm on the edge, because I'm thinking we've cut this guy so much slack. This motherfucker must be in jail. Uhuru Kenyatta, he's fucked in the head, mother. Mama Ngina, the land grabber and poacher, they must be in jail. His brother Moho Kenyatta, J. Moturi, Jomo Gachagua, those guys should be in jail for crimes against humanity. If we are not going to burn their houses, the only other compromise is they should be in jail. Because these are guys who have looted, they have destroyed our futures, our collective destinies. I saw a lady talking about prophetic destiny of the country, the people who borrowed debt. You're hearing they have sub-consolidated funds domiciled in different countries, and we are here. I see some influencers there with no shame saying that Uhuru was better than Ruto. These guys are fucked in the head, all of them. And why would you be comparing Uhuru to Ruto? Uhuru right now, because of the amount of debt he has left this country, because of the amount of sabotage, deliberate sabotage. The other day I was talking about Alcoblo. It sounds small, but it's a significant thing. You're looking at, they erected Alcoblo on all the entry points in Nairobi because they were trying to manipulate. They wanted CBD to fall, and they were doing it out of malice because they knew this person had property here, this person had property. So if we block access to CBD, then nobody will be going, and all these properties will collapse, and we can buy them at a throwaway price. So this motherfucker, this guy called Uhuru Kenyatta, we are cutting him so much slack. This guy should be in jail. He's a murderer. He's been charged, and I keep on telling you, Uhuru and Ruto were in the ICC. They were charged with the highest crime in the land, in Earth, in planet Earth. These are people who have no souls. These are dark bastards. And anytime, like now, I saw somebody saying that on Tuesday, we are supposed to be protesting, we are supposed to be occupying parliament because of this nonsense, this charade they are trying to engage us in. They are trying to distract our attention from Adani and all these fucking Muhindis. They are getting to do their funny deals. Adil Kawaja, chairman of Safaricom. Why aren't you boycotting Safaricom right now? Do you still have a Safaricom SIM card? You should have boycotted it by now. If Adil Kawaja is going to remain as a chairman, that's the guy who Nelson Amenya has been working so hard to expose together with Jayesh. These guys are the ones who want to capture our public health care. They want to turn it into their own cash cow. These fucking Muhindis. Are we here? Are we going to tolerate this bullshit? Is this a more era where we had Kamlesh Patni paraded over there pretending to be catwalking on the media? No, man. We have to show these guys that Kenya is our country. Kenya is Marwa. We cannot allow them. Adil Kawaja he's a fucking lawyer. How is he so embedded in our health sector? What business? Because Adil Kawaja is also a director at Nairobi West Hospital. What business do they have? What interest do they have in the mass murder of Kenyans because they want to kill us? This is genocide. This is premeditated. You understand? So when we are talking about people like Uhuru Kenyatta, because the rain didn't start beating us over here, the economy was booming. I did a tweet the other day. I was saying that I used to go to a local in 2011 where we were 30 of us and we used to be friends, and then people just started falling one by one. Your company has shut down. You've been retrenched. You've been what? Everything. And by 2019, nobody had a single job. Why? Because of this bastard, this clusterfuck called Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta is a demonic son of a bitch who you should not even be mentioning in any of your tweets. Influencers we have in Kenya are so full of shit, man. Why would you even compose? How do you get the strength to concoct a tweet that Uhuru was okay? Then we are briefing. No. So we are talking about shift. We are talking about the Ministry of Health. What the fuck is the Ministry of Health trying to do? You should be in the streets. I've just listened to Wanjiro's presentation talking about her father. Her father is saying the father was getting 9,500 treatment every other time they go for dialysis. Now suddenly they're being told to pay upfront 11,500. You're listening to that idiot, that asshole called Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria is the biggest asshole north of Limpopo, south of the Sahara. I've never seen such a fucked up guy in my life. He comes there, he's telling you about health. Which health? degree does he possess? Has he ever worked in a hospital? Is he an investor in hospital? No. And you're listening to him telling you about health, and the media is platforming. That's why we don't listen to these very media bastards, because they're full of shit. How do you give somebody who's not even a medical professional, health professional? We have professionals, there's no shortage. We already have these guys who are talking on this platform over here. They are telling us the weaknesses, the flaws with this HIF, and we are here entertaining Moses Kuria, telling us how an overhauled system which was working, now they are going to replace it with another one that isn't working, and you're there giving him airtime. You should be in the streets, you useless bastards. You shouldn't be listening to Moses Kuria. I get pissed off. I don't understand how you lack the mental tools to just analyze, to just look at this bastard, to just say this is bullshit, to just go in the streets and stay there. You're not going to the streets to be told to leave in the evening by Boniface Mwangi after he's been paid by the Ministry of Interior. No, you're going there to stay there until one thing happens, until the MPs leave, until they vacate, until they're not just vacating, not just running away in the tunnels. They should be made to stand there and forced to apologize to Kenyans for wasting our time, for serving vested interests. The next time that we are doing the maandamano, it has to be intentional. There has to be an objective. You're not going there to take selfies. You are there going to take selfies. You're there for vibes and inshallah. What are you doing, vibes and inshallah? You know very well that Safaricom is the one which pinged the locations of everyone who was in parliament. And all of them were picked up by the police, by the DCI one by one. And most of them went to be murdered. You know very well that happened. So why are you still having a Safaricom SIM card by now? Why are you still using that network? Amerix right now was telling me he was trying to use Safaricom, and for some weird reason, the people who are trying to log in through Safaricom, they cannot get into this space. Why are you using a network that is deliberately structured to censor you, to censor your voice? You should have left a long time ago. This is basic and common knowledge. Why are you disregarding it? Because these are the guys who gave the locations to everyone who was picked up by the police. So it's not business as usual. I'm saying this beyond our collective interest, beyond our collective objectives. There has to be some element of personal responsibility. How do you still have a Safaricom SIM card till now? You guys take a lot of things for granted. You guys take a lot of things as a joke. You don't understand that Adil Kawaja is the chairman of Safaricom. He is bound because of the funny deals that he's doing with Ruto to continue giving location to the activists, locations of the activists, of the lawyers. They know where you are at any one time. They can come and pick you up any one time. So your first step into the age and into the realm of enlightenment is drop your Safaricom SIM card. It's as simple as that. Drop your Safaricom Wi-Fi's. Drop them immediately. And if we move collectively, we just need 10,000 of us to drop them. And then we have strength, and then we go growing. Yeah, if you hear somebody saying occupy parliament on Tuesday, be there, because this whole Gachagua nonsense is a charade, is a nonsense. They are distracting us from the can we say industrial scale looting that they are embarking on, because these guys, I told you, they are not creative in their thuggery. Them, they just want to sit down and say tui beapa, and so they get clusterfucks and idiots and assholes like Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria comes there and tells you about health. Why would you be listening about health issues to Moses Kuria, to obese buffoon called David D? Why would you be listening to them telling you about health? You should only be listening to issues relating to health from health experts. And they've already raised the red flag. They've already told you that this shift is a scam. This shift is a what? What is left to do? The courts have already pronounced themselves. These guys are going against the court orders. So what's next to do? You should be going to the streets like your life dependent on it. Like this is a matter of life and death. You should be there on Tuesday, not to go and support Gachagua, and he's also another asshole. He's also another useless old bastard who has not done anything and now claiming that he wants our sympathy. But you should be there because of Shift, because you have listened to that story. It is very powerful that now we are going to have no less than 60,000 people who are dependent on dialysis. They are not going to get that service because the Ministry of Health, because Moses Kuria, because this fucking Muhindi is called Adil Kawaja and Jayesh, they want to steal money. and take it to offshore accounts in Dubai? No, we cannot allow them. We have to tell them that this is not the Moi era. We have to make it clear to them that they are dealing with a new generation. This is not the generation of our parents who used to understand and they are told everything and then they agree. No. That's what happened in the 90s. And I told you when they had the when they started mortgaging our parastatals, it was smooth, it was easy. They started glamorizing it. They started calling it the golden handshake. Yeah, they used to call them the SAPs, the structural adjustment programs by World Bank. They used to glamorize them. And then you're told, take the handshake, we are selling these parastatals. The parastatals that were being sold, which were profitable, which were stable. Kenya Airways was stable. It was sold under the guise of privatization, just like they are trying to do with our public health sector. It was sold in 2004 to KLM, which was a privatization where people were hiding behind there so that they can steal the company. But has Kenya Airways become better because of privatization? No. In fact, ever since it was privatized in 1994, ever since it was privatized, it has costed the taxpayers no less than 100 billion. And yet they were touting, they were floating the privatization as a quick fix panacea, which is what these fucking Muindis are doing with SHIF. They are telling you that now you concede what has been serving you for the last 30 years, and then they are telling you, no, now we have a new system. And then they bring digitization and technology. No, we have to move from there. That's how you guys were roped in Huduma number. I need to understand how you guys, once you hear a government press release, once you see the media, you fall in line. You're told, you're just there. That's how you guys got injected with poison under the guise of COVID, because you are listening to I don't know what. You're told Matiang'i used to come there and then he bangs the table, and then you say Matiang'i is a performer just because he bangs the table. You guys have to reevaluate the values that you take seriously. A significant, or can we say a government or a civil servant who is working hard, he's not working hard because he's appearing on TV banging tables. I've been seeing you guys getting excited by a Nairobi County government employee who is just going around pretending that he's closing clubs because of noise. Those are not the components which you're used to evaluate if a civil servant is working. It's the numbers. We want to see how much did you make, how much did you save, how much did you do. As you're hearing, there was a secret consolidated fund launched by Uhuru Kenyatta, done by Kimani Ichung'wah. Kimani Ichung'wah is one because he was the chairman of the budget committee. They did that. And we are allowing these people to lecture you. You go for Harambee, they lecture you. You should be pelting them with stones. You should be burning their vehicles. That's the anger that should be brewing inside you. Not there. You're telling me that I'm speaking shit. That is your work to be policing language? Have I stolen any of your money? Have I stolen any of your taxes? You should be channeling that anger, not to strangers on the internet, to the idiots that you elected, you queued there. You assholes. No, shame. You go and queue there, Rigathi Ruto, and then you tick right. And then you still want us to clear the mess. You want us to clean up the dirt that you created. At least you have to respect us. If you want to respect yourselves, you're going to respect the people who are giving their lives out here, who are spending every day just fighting for your rights. And you, as you're there, you're just busting your ass, just waiting for somebody else to work on your behalf. No, you will have to respect us from today. And we are not begging. Those guys who are talking shit, those idiots, like a guy like Kilundizi, Sam Otero, you're talking shit there. You will respect us because you won't be creating problems and then you wait for other people to come and clean them for you. No. We are beyond that. And so before, as I close down, I'm telling you, the only solution that is remaining right now, we have spoken. Everyone has seen that this chief is a scam. Everyone has seen that Adil Kawaja, the chairman of Safaricom, wants to hijack our public health sector so that it can be in his pocket. And you are there. You are still using a Safaricom SIM card. In the list, you're going to stop using Safaricom from today, from tomorrow. That's the list that you are going to do. And then now we move forward. What's next? Are we going to the streets? Are we going to what? Are we going to court? Because these guys are not ready to back down. If they're not ready to back down, then what will you do? Are you going to wait there until your until your loved one gets to go to hospital and then they're turned away and then they are having a life-threatening or life-threatening terminal illness? Are you going to wait until that day? No, we have to move fast. We have to, you have to think about, once you hear about an issue like that one that Wanjiru has elaborated, once you hear it, don't think that it is Wanjiru's issue. Just know that you're next. You're just in line. It's just your time hasn't come. So are you going to move now, or are you going to wait? The thing is, now we need to start mobilizing. And don't wait for conmen, don't wait for fraudsters, don't wait for frauds to be telling you, to be triggering you on when to mobilize. For instance, I've just seen a video. There was a quiver in Mombasa Road. Guys were there, they were shouting, Ruto must go, Ruto must go. The next, because they've been kicked out under a fake fire drill. Why were you waiting, Ruto must go? You should have immediately there, you gathered all of you and marched to State House, marched to Parliament, marched anywhere. Why were you waiting? Why were you going home? You're going home to do what? Or you're going to look for another club. The moment you find an incident of injustice, an incident where your rights and freedoms have been infringed on, that's where you moved. Stop being told that you wait for Tuesday. That's what Boniface Mwangi did to you. That's how he killed the momentum of the revolution, because he's on the payroll of the Ministry of Interior. No, you don't wait. You act there immediately. Immediately you see something. If you're in Bypass, if you're in where, if you're in Githurai, you see something, you march immediately. Stop waiting for Tuesday. Stop being told that you wait for Thursday. No, march immediately. You piss me off. Those idiots who are in Quiver Mombasa Road, you're a bunch of stupid idiots. You should have started marching there. If you've been kicked out from a club and you were there enjoying your own money, and then some idiot just comes and tells you you have to leave. No, you should have marched there. You should have done more. You have to be proactive, you useless bastards. You have so much money. You can drink, you can take your hood rats out, you can spend all the money you want on your hood rats, but when it comes to rising to the occasion, when it comes to fighting for your rights, you have families. You will keep on paying black tax. When? For how long will you continue paying black tax? Just because people are stealing your money. Secondly, we have the locations of these MPs. We have the locations. We know where they live. We know their assets. We know where they take their children to school. We even know where their side chicks live. Why aren't you rising to the occasion? Do what's required for you. I don't need to stipulate it here. I don't need to elaborate it here. You need to do what is required for you. Now it's not about waiting for Boniface Mwangi. Now it's not about waiting for Hanifa. Hanifa now is selling buibus in Isili with your money. It's not about that. It's now about what will I do? Will I be part of the solution? And if you're not ready to be part of the solution, then go to hell. You piss me off, man. When I think about you guys, I feel angry. Anyway, thank you, Amerix.
Okay. NHIF was started in 1966. 1966. This thing has undergone transformation yearly upon year, improving it, fine-tuning it, and it was not mandatory. It was a fund. This shifting is an authority, SHA. So they have the authority to deduct money from you, and you will not question it. But you don't say this. NHIF was a fund where Kenyans collect money and put in a fund, then this money is distributed. But this one is an authority, just like Kenya Revenue Authority. It has the authority to deduct money from you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, my name is Brian Silwes. I'm an urban spoken word artist from Nakuru, and here is my submission. Sidai kufit any shoe, minadai to converse. Time you're having a serious convo debate ni nani international, nani local. Anyway, kwa hii story niko mstari wa mbele like Avangi logo. Ambia the current, he's the next former. Impact ya full stop worthy compare just comma. Blow unto blogger. Deal breaker haitaji broker. Ambia tumechoka. I stand with our fallen soldiers mulikalia viti, but again you still don't sit well so far. Ata fala kwe blind the moment ako in power, you'll get that fallacy. International mindset serving locally. Every evening, morning, you empty heads with guns competing to fill city mortuary. At a time kuna video, they still want to shoot me. So ambia my nephew, better I die on my feet than live on my knees. Si hata mwenye alisema serikali ni ya shareholder amebaki lonely without company. But si tuko busy allowing our comrade to rest in peace. So story go, story come. So afande with or without uniform sare kujudge my youth hata kama wamedress to kill. These looks are deceiving. People can't be dying because you want to earn a living. Na kijana, pesa ya pombe isifanye unyonge watu juu ya kuwaibia. Nimerepi word kuliko MCA wako juu maneno ya ubakaji, sitaki kusikia Northeastern Sea Camel pekee. Hata watu wanaangamia. Free education sasa ndio imekuwa. Naambia serikali hatuna kazi alafu inatuuliza tushaisoma Bible ukakosa job wewe. So nitasisitiza a way to say no to stress, depression haina form. Itakukosesha usingizi kwa hiyo mattress. Landlord wana plot na ma-agent vile wata make my night sleepless. Landlord wana plot na ma-agent vile wata make my night sleepless. Extra pressure. Nikipata padlock extra kwa mlango. Elimu ni ufunguo wa maisha lakini si wa mlango. So hapo kwako education keys ni useless. Hata uwe most spice uwe useless. Whether in the past or present, relax stance. Don't stay wondering what to do. Stay hydrated because water is source of life, but life is not source of water. Weomba kazi na wasko pia ukate maji lakini usikate kakwota. Na kabla ulewe chakari ulihepa aje option ya soda. So karibu kwa hii generation. Hii si ile generation ya kina grandpa. Kwa hii generation babuana kupeana that stick kwa mjukuu wake, excuse ni ameiva kuliko nyanya. Now you know why kwa hii generation hatuna vituku. Kwa hii generation tuko tu na vituko. Kwa hii generation Fatma heri Muslim. Juu wengine in the name of kula kukunywa, don't be surprised wakileta cut as their daily bread. Amwezi observe the holy month of Ramadan because at the end of the day you still afford to have debts. Na sisi sasa country tushakam clean, tunapenda content chafu zikitrend, wasanii wanaturn to be politician ndo tutumia after kushindwa kutumia beat. Na ikifika ni time ya kuface the music wako na guts za kutushow wait a bit. Mastudio ameturn to be the best teacher vile wako experience na hizi vitu. Wengine na skills za kutoa mimba wajuu walitoa wapi hiyo usiku. Jigas ndo wameshindwa kutoa despite kuwafunza kwa hizo miguu. So we kuwa na subira Juliacha kuvuta heri siku hizi unavuta za juja. Excuse me ati they make you feel super high nika ujui the way to heaven IPT thika. So kwa hii generation nimekuja hata Nairobi nikarealize ma content creator want any content kuhusu whatever we are talking about. My name is Brian Silways. I'm an urban spoken word artist kutoka Nakuru. I do spoken word in matatus with Willie Oeba. I do spoken word in streets at where people are gathering. That's what I do. So you can call me for events. And I've just released my album. It's called Avangi album. It has amazing tracks, the spoken words, the revolution about social justice, just defending democracy. And it goes 500 shillings only. And on 12th of December, we shall be having a live event with my brother Willie Oeba. So make sure you come through. And you can get ticket through his bio. Thank you so much, Amerix, and let's keep on fighting for democracy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brian. For those who are listening, I really like artists because I'm also an artist. Artists use their talent to push for civic education and to push for public discourse. That's why I give artists an opportunity to talk to us, poems, songs, spoken words, drama, anything that can build our public discourse, make us laugh at ourselves using sarcasm, using imagery, using symbolism, and all devices of literature. Because literature is what makes us think deep about ourselves. I was looking for Mwalimu Professor Njoya, my teacher. I don't know where she is. She has very good insight concerning this Shifsha. I don't know if Cyprian can get her or Bravin, but we had talked. She called me in the morning and she wanted to be part of this discussion. She's very, very solid. She has very good points when it comes to our spiritual, our collective spirituality as a nation. So Nelson, I want you to finish so that you can break. What is the connection between Adani, Shif, Shah, and all these madness?
Thank you, Amerix. So, this issue is so big. I don't know if people comprehend the magnitude of what is happening today in Kenya. It looks every day when I speak about it, people have been telling me, "Oh, you're jealous of Morara because you're saying he's taking all the attention." People are so stupid that they think when I say you're losing focus, it's because I want to be the focus of attention. By the way, let me tell you, I'm doing an MBA. I'm in a business school, and I would rather be looking for a job or be looking for ways to to secure my future rather than speaking on X. And I wasn't that active until I decided to come and speak out and try and help my country. So it's not about cloud chasing, as many people think, because I have a better personal life anyway. So this issue is of a huge magnitude. Adani Group, first of all, you all know Adani, how big it is. Adani last year, they bought a port in Israel, the Haifa port. Adani bought this port. Adani bought the port in Dar es Salaam. They have also bought in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka. So Adani is really huge, and they're being funded by BlackRock. For those who are aware, BlackRock owns almost all companies in the world. So BlackRock is really huge, and Adani is connected to the Prime Minister of Abu Dhabi, the royal family of UAE. So Adani is connected to them. And you all know how UAE, these Arabs, they have so much money. They have something called the sovereign wealth funds. And the sovereign wealth funds of these Arab countries are in the trillion dollars. They have so much money. They're just looking for ways to spend this money. And they have discovered that investing this money in Africa is the best way to get a return on their investments. And one of the ways they're doing it is by using proxies like Adani, proxies like Jayesh, NMC. There is a clinic called NMC. NMC, there is Amerix. Is that you, Amerix? There's a noise. Anyway, there is a health facility in Kenya called NMC. This NMC Fertility Center is owned by Adil Kawaja and owned also by Jayesh. NMC is a subsidiary of another company in Dubai, in UAE, called NMC Healthcare. NMC Healthcare was involved in a $4.6 billion scandal in the UAE, and it was run by some Indian called B.R. Shetty. B.R. Shetty was a billionaire Indian in the UAE. Same thing, he was doing the same thing that Jayesh and Adil Kawaja are doing in Kenya today. And he was involved in a 4.6 billion scandal. He had to run away to India, and he's never gone back to the UAE. The same people he was working with in the UAE, the same people in the royal family. There's one guy who is the national security advisor of the UAE, and he's also the prime minister of Abu Dhabi.